Professor Latour is, as you know, an internationally renowned scholar whose work has been recognized in so many different fields that I don't have the time to list them all in this short introduction. Allow me to name just a few. Sociology and anthropology of science, of course, but also sociology tout court, political science, organization studies, forensic studies, geography, history, and of course, communication. He received a PhD in philosophy from the Université de Tours in 1975 and his habilitation from the École des Hautes Études en Sciences Sociales in 1987. Following this, he went on to become a professor in the École Nationale Supérieure des Mines de Paris, one of the most prestigious engineering schools in France, where he was a professor from 1982 to 2006. Since 2006, Professor Latour is a member of Sciences Po Paris, Sciences Po, I should have said, France's highest academic institution in political science. Professor Latour is the author of a dozen of books translated into many languages. Among them, I can mention Laboratory Life, published in 1979 and translated into 4 languages, Science in Action, published in 1987 and translated into 9 languages. We Have Never Been Modern, published in 1991 and translated into 22 languages. Politics of Nature, published in 1999 and translated into 6 languages. And more recently, Reassembling the Social, an introduction to actor network theory, published in 2005 and already translated into 3 languages. He is also the author of more than 100 articles published in internationally renowned journals and has been the curator of 2 international art exhibitions in 2002 and 2005. For those who may be curious, Bruno Latour was born into a wine family, but no confusion, it is not Bordeaux, but Burgundy, which happens to be my favorite wine. I'm sorry, Valerie, if you're here. I'm sure you're here. He is also a very warm person, a fantastic debater, and a gifted speaker. Each time I was lucky enough to meet with him or hear him speaking, I always came out of these experiences feeling more enriched and passionate than before. I hope you will experience the same feelings. We are honored to have him with us. So without further ado, I present to you Professor Bruno Latour, who will give a keynote speech titled What's Organizing? A meditation on the bust of Emilio Bootme in praise of Jim Taylor.
I'm no specialist of organization theory, but since you asked me to honor the work of Jim Taylor and to accept a degree from your prestigious university on the same occasion, I want to draw not so much on my work as an academic as on my job, entirely new to me, of a university administrator, since I now work as a kind of rather inefficient and powerless dean. To put you in the right spirit, I want to meditate with you upon a small anecdote, the particulars of which are of no relevance, but that many of you, I'm sure, will recognize as pretty typical of organizing work. This morning, we are in a crisis, and the board of directors has assembled to decide what strategy to follow and which other dean to hire to hold the helm of our school more firmly. As one director has just argued, an administrator would certainly be more in our tradition, but it might also be necessary to have at last an academic. Fine, one of us say, but if we look back to Emilio Bootme's original blueprint for our institution, such a choice would mean that we forget that our founder always showed the utmost diffidence to straight academics. It's in the DNA of our institution to hire only hybrids, he says, and never to confide anything to somewhat with the professional profile of a universitaire who have brought French university to their catastrophic present state. He then proceeds to propose the name of a hybrid character who is never a straight professor nor an administrator, but a sort of academics. It's at this moment that, following his gesture, we all turn to the bust in bronze of Emilio Bootme, the founder of our school, that sits on the mantel in the room. Naturally, At this point, no one expects the energetic head on its pedestal to nod in approval or to react indignantly like the statue of Don Juan's father whose iron grip drags him to hell. We are all aware that the allusion to the essence of our school is not something that can be proven beyond any doubt. No one actually demands to please unfold the blueprint or to decrypt the code of his DNA for us. It's perfectly plausible to imagine that we would have all turned our heads towards the same bust, even if the speaker had made a completely opposite claim and had said that because times have changed, now is the time to depart from Bootme's diffidence to academics and to hire at last a true universitaire. But all of the directors are well aware that talking of the DNA of the institution, a biological metaphor to which I return at the end of the talk, or a blueprint, a technical metaphor borrowed from the word of engineers and architects, are only ways to designate the continuity in time of our institution. And we all know, indeed we are paid to know it, we are actually assembled because of this knowledge, knowing at us. But when we say that our school possesses an essence that should dictate our present choice, this essence is so little assured and commands our behavior with so little clarity and so weak a pressure that we simply don't know what to do. The essence will not carry us on any more than Bootme's ancestral head, with its late 19th century hairdo, will show the direction we should pursue. Essence, in other words, doesn't flow from Bootme's time to this very morning as some irrepressible river in the stream of which we would just have to swim, but, so to speak, backward from this time, our crisis meeting, to the bust of our founder. The best proof of this retrograde movement is that the three solutions, an administrator, a straight academic, a hybrid, could all as well be attributed to our founder's approbation. The essence goes from the present moment back to the past, and then from the past to the present. It begins to be ensured by our founder's stamp of approval, but only after our decision has been settled. But then why do we turn to the bust? Are we really serious? To be sure, we smile while doing this. It's simultaneously a sort of automatism. We all turn our heads to follow the finger of our fellow director pointing at it. And it's somewhat of a theatrical gesture. Each of us smile in a different way, from outright irony to deference, with many nuances in between. And yet, it would be entirely false to say that turning towards the founder's effigy in a moment of crisis is useless, entirely satirical, or even clearly seen as a mere retrograde movement, as I just said a minute ago. Yes, we attribute to Bootme our own decision. Yes, we all say that it's in the blueprint and in the DNA of our school after we have decided what to draw from its heritage. And yet, there is no question that we are really in search of an answer to the present crisis by going back to what our institution really means. The best proof that it is not an ironic and amusing moment is that we rarely do it. And only when the continuity of our school or its